Have you ever gotten into an argument online? If so, then this video is for you. Yes, we've all gotten into arguments online. We have gotten into conflicts, confrontations, exchanges, and many of the times they lead to nowhere. They lead to no resolution, no good feelings. You go into them feeling a certain way and you leave enraged. And then it's almost like road rage a little bit, right? You're entering into a situation that's brilliant. The technology is there, you're moving, and all of a sudden something small happens and you just lose your mind. And I wanted to speak on how to deal with that. How do you deal with online arguments, online insidious statements, and the kind of the run-of-the-mill troll. So you say something that may seem, fairly not really pushing the bill, and then somebody inserts something and replies, and you're like, whoa, and now you're in it, and it's a mud fight all of a sudden. A friend of mine recently told me a story about they were on a particular Facebook group, and it really got out of hand because they started citing a lot of facts and statistics and research and whatnot, and they really thought that that was what was going to shed some light to this group that was kind of trialing out a lot of different hate and some racist remarks. And they thought that because they were going to give them history, research, statistics, and facts, that it was going to affect everybody. And actually, it went the opposite direction. And what happened was they were labeled as, this aggravator, this instigator, and all these other things. And it's because it's purely based on emotions. And I go to two different phrases that I heard. One earlier was, and I might be totally butchering this, but if you get into the pit with pigs, you're going to get messy. So if you get into these fights, if you enter into these fights, they're going to inherently get messy regardless. Nobody's going to leave clean. Nobody's going to leave at peace. Nobody's going to leave any better educated. You just might leave upset and do something in your day-to-day life that is not going to help you or the people around you. The other thing that I heard and I wanted to speak to in this video is it's not about who you're speaking to. It's about what you're answering to. I'll say that again. It's not about who you're speaking to. It's about what you're answering to. In therapy and a lot of group therapy, the idea is to never label the person, label the human or the mind. It's to address the behavior. And when you get into these exchanges online, it's not about who you're speaking to. It's about the behavior and the climate of the situation that you're answering to. If somebody is troweling out anger, well, you're answering the anger. If somebody is troweling out sexism, misogyny, or racism, well, now you're answering to sexism, misogyny, and or racism. If somebody throws out something totally xenophobic and you're like, uh-oh, I'm going back in on this, I'm going to tell them what's what, now you're answering the xenophobia. My history coming from a past of working in intervention-based forum, which is where we pull up on auditoriums of 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 700 students at a time and hold conversations about substance abuse, sexual assault, racism, transphobia, or sexism, then, I might have said that twice, the conversation spanned over a lot of different subjects. But what we would do is we would pull up and have those conversations. There wasn't a lot of space for anything escapist as online. You couldn't really have a faceless account and engage in that because your body was right there in the auditorium and you had to look the person in the eye and talk to them. There was no dehumanization of it. There was no dissociation with it. And so in entering with the catharsis of intervention-based forum, everybody was beholden to the conversation. And you had to come to some means of resolution or peace or just acceptance of who your community was and what everybody's opinions and ideas were on it. The idea is that when you engage with these conversations online, you have to ask yourself, not who are you speaking to, but what are you answering to? And at the end of the day, will you leave more educated than you did before you entered in? If the answer is no, then obviously by all means take the option of not answering. If the answer is yes, well then hey, there might be a resolution there. There might be a constructive conversation there. Some people have said really weird, YouTube is one of the like strangest spaces. So people just say weird stuff and I'm just like, peace be with you. It is what it is. I'm not going to go down that road with you. You know, bless your journey. However, there are some people that have said certain things on other social medias where I'm like, well, tell me more about that. What do you mean by that? And then we end up having a conversation or addressing what it is that they're speaking to or the miscommunication that we had and move forward. And what I'm answering to is sometimes when that works out, is somebody that wanted clarification or somebody that wanted more information. When it's somebody that is doling out a threat, doling out some type of giant stigma or optional ignorance. They know that they want to get under your skin, which is also known as trolling. Then it's just, what am I answering to? I'm answering to kind of a trap, and I'm not going to get into it. So ask yourself, the next time somebody responds with something slightly discomforting or infuriating, whatever it is on the spectrum, ask yourself, if you engage with this conversation, what are you answering to? And will you leave that conversation more informed or better educated afterwards than you were before?